I've personally designed over 2,500 thumbnails for some of the biggest channels on YouTube. Combined, those thumbnails have over 200 million views. And after analyzing the data on every single one, I can guarantee you that the ones that look better don't always perform the best. They are the ones that have elements that your brain simply can't ignore. And in this video, I'm breaking down which are the factors to make clickable thumbnails. Let's get started. Now, the first and most important thing of a thumbnail is to stop the scroll. Before anyone reads the title, before they decide if they want to click on the video, they have to notice your thumbnail and they have to stop scrolling. There are 7 elements that do this consistently. Most thumbnails use one of them, but the perfect spot is to combine a few, so you can make sure that your thumbnail is irresistible. First one is faces with strong emotions. Humans are biologically wired to look into faces, especially if those have very strong emotions. Shock, fear, confusion, joy. A simple smile doesn't stop anyone. The expression has to match what you'll feel when watching the video. That's exactly why MrBeast has been testing with lots of different face expressions over the last few years. Second one is famous or familiar faces. The brain prioritizes faces that they have already seen or sound familiar to them. Celebrities, athletes, well-known creators. They act as instant attention triggers because familiarity makes them want to click on the video. However, this only works if they actually appear in the video. The catch is, you can only use their faces if that's actually related to the content of their video. Otherwise, you're killing retention and they'll stop watching the video the second they click. The third one is big numbers of money. Numbers create mental shortcuts that need zero context. 0 to $1 million, $50 million a house. You get the idea. The brain processes them faster than any other text. That's why finance and business channels rely on this trigger on many of their thumbnails. Fourth one is familiar interfaces and logos. YouTube, Shopify, PayPal, but same as with the faces, it only works if it's actually related to the video. The fifth one is a single curiosity object. Sometimes the best performing thumbnails don't need 1,000 different elements to perform well. They just need one single focus point that is clear enough and makes the video unskippable. The simplicity itself becomes the curiosity gap. It works especially well in niches that are saturated with thumbnails that are all over the top with way too many elements, because in those cases, the simple one is the one that screams for attention. The sixth one is action. Basically, we would like to have the thumbnail look like there's something happening instead of just pulling a face, pulling a text, and pulling a background, so everything looks with more cohesion. The seventh is color contrast against your thumbnail and your feed. That means that if every thumbnail in your niche is saturated with many colors, maybe getting cleaner can be better. And likewise, if all the thumbnails in your niche are dark and dramatic, maybe try something brighter the next time you upload a video. On that same note, you can balance the contrast colors in your same thumbnail. Green with purple, yellow with blue. Those are colors that generate more contrast and will make your thumbnail stand out much more. The mistake people make is trying to put all these 7 triggers together in one thumbnail. That simply doesn't work. It's just too much. The brain simply can't process all this information in half a second. My rule of thumb is trying to pick 2 or 3 that fit your video or thumbnail better and apply them to perfection. Now, if the first rule tells you what to put into a thumbnail, the second one tells you how to free up space so that what you put in the thumbnail actually has a real impact. Almost every viral thumbnail on YouTube follows this rule. However, it's very difficult to spot as a viewer. 3 elements per thumbnail maximum. Sometimes it's 3 objects with no text. Sometimes it's a face and a logo. But the count is almost always 3. The reason why this works is very simple. Many thumbnails are seen in small devices such as phones, so it's very hard to put so many elements and have them have an impact on your thumbnail. That's because when we're looking at smaller screens, we can't put so that much detail. 3 elements is actually the maximum the eye can absorb in half a second. But you can take this step a little bit further by removing smaller elements such as the microphone from the thumbnails, the text from the t-shirt, and other small elements that are just creating visual noise and aren't adding any extra information. Real quick, if you want to go deeper in all this, I've created something unique called the Thumbnail Bible. It's a 30-page ebook that goes through how to create viral thumbnails much more in depth than in this video. I've left a link for it in the description, make sure to check it out. Now, your thumbnail isn't sitting alone on a white screen. It's competing with a bunch of other thumbnails that appear in the viewer's feed, and they have to decide if they want to click on your video. If your thumbnail isn't visually louder compared to others, it won't stand out, and contrast is how you can make it louder. There are different types of contrast every well-performing thumbnail uses. First one is separation between foreground and background, meaning that there's enough depth in the thumbnail, so it's very easy to discern the different elements, the text, the graph if you have one, the person, etc. Everything can't blend into one scenario, but instead you need to be able to discern the different elements at a glance. Second one is color contrast. As we can see in this example, it's very important to generate contrast with the colors we're using in the thumbnail. For example, in this case, between the t-shirt and the background color. Colors that sit opposite on the color wheel create maximum pop when placed next to each other. But there's one more factor you have to take into account. Over 80% of people consume YouTube in dark mode. So in many cases, your thumbnail has to stand out against a dark background, not a white one. If you're designing on a white Photoshop layout without seeing how it actually looks on YouTube, you're designing it blind. That's the first layer of contrast. The second one is against your competitors. If everyone's using thumbnails with way too many elements, try to simplify it to create contrast. Standing out from your competition is a strategy on its own, and many people forget to look at their competitors before they publish their video. Now, the last rule we're gonna cover is about text. It can look very straightforward at first, but it's very easy to mess it up. Text in a thumbnail should only appear if it's adding new information compared to what we have in the title and in the thumbnail itself. If your text repeats the title, it's wasted space. Text works when it gives context that the image or title themselves can't provide on their own. It doesn't really work if it's describing what is already in the image, if it's too long, if it's repeating the title. Those are mistakes we should avoid when working on thumbnails. So if you're gonna use text, make sure it's to add some new information. And let's use this rule. Maximum 5 words. Now, to wrap it up, every video you post without a good thumbnail is a clear loss. Those viewers aren't sitting somewhere waiting for you to change the thumbnail, improve the CTR, and make sure that the video starts doing better. They are gone. If your click-through rate could be at 6% and it's staying at 3%, you're wasting half of the potential of your video. And to help you fix this, I'm offering a free thumbnails audit call to help serious creators and business owners fix this bottleneck into their channel. We'll go over some of your thumbnails and see exactly what's holding them from performing much better. And if you want my team to take over after the call, we can talk. If not, you walk away with a clear list of things you can improve for your next uploads. Link is in the description and spots are limited. With that, thank you for watching. See you soon.